Donut Bag is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Your data is your business. Protect it with ExpressVPN. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to the link listed in my Twitter profile. So we've been doing this, I think, over a year now. I call them our quarterly meetings about WWE. And, every time we talk about, some major WWE card or something like that, it's basically the same theme is we're frustrated with the WWE. We're frustrated with the booking, no long-term booking, how they treat the talent. They don't build stars, stuff. It's almost the same issues every single time. And I did not have high expectations for WrestleMania, probably because WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble basically sucked. So I thought it was going to be more sim. So I had very low expectations, and I gotta tell you, I was thrilled. I loved both nights. I was very pleasantly surprised. And that's the crazy thing about WWE is they could do crap for weeks and months, and then they put on great stuff, and nobody comes close to, if you watch social media, all you see is that you would think that the WWE is about to go out of business. It's in decline. Everybody complains about it. Nobody's putting on 70,000 plus stadium shows 2 nights in a row.
True story.
Nobody's doing that. What did you think of WrestleMania?
I thought on the whole, it exceeded my expectations. There's still some misses in there, but was it the most stupendous 2-night WrestleMania in history? Well, compared to last year's 2-night event, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it delivered on a lot of levels that were surprising.
Yeah. Favorite night? Did you like night 1 more than night 2, or night 2 better?
We had talked last week on this very Donut Bag podcast on all of your social media platforms available to watch and to listen. That night 1 was stacked, and night 1 on paper looked better. And there was a lot of night 2 that kind of did make up the difference when it came to the execution. Night 1 was great. Night 1 delivered, and night 2 it exceeded expectation. I might still give the edge to night 1, but not as much of an edge as I would, and no pun intended with edge, not as much of an edge as I thought it would have. Night 2 kind of rounded itself out nicely.
Yeah. We talked about how we were way more excited for night 1 than night 2. But night 2, I think if you just describe it in the word, was fun. There's just a lot of fun things going on, and we'll talk about it. It's it's all good. And I'm when you're spending like 10 hours in a weekend watching something, you hope it's good, and it was. So
it needs to be, right? It's like binge watching a whole series of a show. That's right. I mean, they started off night 1. Your kickoff just has to get the crowd going, and you had the Usos with Shinsuke and Boogs. I guess Boogs, with a knee injury during the match and everything, but the Usos going over was the right choice. They are, I think they're, in this generation, I'm going to put them ahead of the New Day as the defining tag team of this generation.
I think they're 1A, 1B. You could, they're basically to me, they're tied for the best. Yeah. But yeah, the Usos are amazing. I just wish the WWE tag division was a little bit better,
a little stronger. Yeah.
But still, hey, it's a shame about Boogs. Such, he is, I guess he's going to be out for a few months with injuries, torn quad, patella tendon. That just stinks.
It's a tough break. It does. Yeah. It's I feel bad for him because he's over, and he is over with the crowd for sure. And but that'll give him some time when he comes back, and they can rejuvenate whatever story they have for him and Shinsuke. Drew McIntyre and Corbin. This is just Obviously McIntyre had to win, right? How many? I get nervous about their sword spots. Okay, where he's taking a swing and Madcap Moss ducks, and they had him split the two ropes with the sword. They're making me nervous. Okay,
Hey,
I appreciate a memorable spot or an event more than anything. The sword is making me nervous. I think they got to stop with that.
yeah, let's stop with the sword. That's a little.
Well, something happens.
We don't need.
Yeah. Live decapitations are
Right.
not good. The eye for an eye was bad enough. We don't need a sword accident on this. I hope they find some direction for Drew. And maybe he is an interim challenger. You know, we'll talk about Roman down the line. Maybe he's an interim challenger for Roman. I don't see him beating Roman, but maybe he's someone that can occupy some time with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel bad for him. He was a champion when there was during
COVID,
the
no
COVID
fans.
era.
Yeah,
you know, no fans, and that stinks. And yeah, so yeah, build them up again. Let them do something more meaningful and not. Oh God, Happy Corbin. I'm so sick of them. Although I loved when it was broke Corbin when he lost all his money. That was entertaining stuff.
It was.
The one time he went, he did a promo. He's like, can you just give me some money? I just need $10,000 from each and every one of you. Just 10 grand that'll give me going or something like it. So cute. And then but this Happy Corbin stuff sucks.
Yep. So Miz and Logan Paul with Rey and Dominic, and once again we have passed a pay-per-view without my hopes coming true of Dominic turning on Rey. Someday maybe. But
okay,
how about
I was holding my breath for the Dominic heel turn, and it's just not happening.
I know, it's just
one of these times it's gonna have to happen.
We only have to be right once.
That's right.
Okay, but Logan Paul made a great showing. I was impressed. What about you?
Really impressed with Logan Paul. Logan Paul pulled off. He did some heel moves and worked the crowd better than a lot of WWE veterans that have been doing this a long time. He got that crowd going. And what I really like about Logan Paul is apparently he actually respects the business. He obviously put the work in. You know, when you think celebrity wrestling is like, oh God, here we go. No, he put the work in, I mean, Bad Bunny set the bar.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and I mean he met it. He met the challenge of being at WrestleMania. And I credit the Miz. I mean, the Miz is probably the most in real life is probably the most underrated and underappreciated WWE superstar. That guy can do anything. He can be your ambassador for anything. He can be a face or a heel, and he can work with anybody. He is, without a doubt, MVP, the MVP to me a lot of times of WWE.
He's just a good utility player. You could put him in anywhere. Yeah, he could do anything. He's great. He turned on Logan Paul for some reason.
I actually hope that sets something up maybe for SummerSlam. I actually find myself hoping that happens.
I would be perfectly okay with that. My knowledge of Logan Paul and his brother is not much, but from what I've heard, it's bad. So I was very pleasantly surprised. And I mean, I've heard in interviews that he's actually very respectful of the business, and that's really cool to see. So yeah, I would love to see him again. And Miz and Logan Paul would be really cool.
Now, it's funny to me because at that point, I think the WWE, the next two matches ended up being in my opinion, the two matches of the night. And I knew this going in. I knew it going in that Charlotte and Ronda were going to get a more prominent spot, but that Bianca and Becky were going to steal the show, and they did. Absolutely did.
Bianca, she's only been in 2 WrestleManias. She stole the show last year. She stole the show this year. That's a great start to WrestleMania.
It absolutely is. She is a main event player and will be for a long time. I'm impressed with her work, impressed with Becky's work in the match. They just delivered. Put it this way, like we're 4 or 5 days removed from WrestleMania, and we'll get to Charlotte and Ronda in a little bit, but more people are talking about Bianca and Becky than are talking about Charlotte and Ronda.
I was 75% sure that Bianca was going to win, and even still, I was so into it.
You're into it.
And I was so happy when she won. That's what Bianca does. She really gets you behind her. No matter when she's wrestling, no matter where, you really want to root for her.
Right.
And it was, that was
and that's the key to building a main event star. You've got to be able to get the crowd to love you or hate you. They can't be indifferent. There has to be one or the other. And Bianca has definitely won over the fan base, and she is definitely deserving of being the person to hold that championship.
And then Bianca shows up the next night on Raw with a big old black eye. Not sure when that happened, but it's a great visual. Hey, who else benefited from an inadvertent spot? Becky, when Nia Jax broke her nose, that basically made Becky Lynch.
It did, right?
It was.
It shows the toughness. It shows that, unfortunately, I think the women still kind of have to prove they belong sometimes to some of the fan base. I mean, there's no doubt they do. These aren't the 2008 divas in pudding matches anymore.
Exactly.
And, when something like that happens and Bianca shows up with a belt and a black eye and the fan base behind her like that, there's no question she belongs in the main event. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And then the American Nightmare.
Oh boy.
Cody.
Oh boy.
Rhodes. Seth Rollins. But now we all knew it was Cody. Of course we all knew. But man. And Seth Rollins, as much as I'm not a fan of the direction of his character, we talked about some of that last week. Anytime he's in the ring, that guy delivers. He delivers, and he delivered with Cody. And, he helped make Cody an immediate star as he walked in the door here in WWE.
At one point during the match, Seth yells, "Welcome to the big leagues, bitch." Love that. You can make the argument that Seth is the best in the world right now. It just is pure, wrestling. So, no surprise that Seth would put on a great match, regardless of whatever his character was. But I was very pleasantly surprised, maybe because I thought there was a small chance that it wouldn't be Cody, that it would be like Shane McMahon or some stupid thing like that. So I wasn't getting my hopes up. But when
Can you imagine how the crowd would have crapped on
my
that?
God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would have been bad. But what I loved was that the crowd was really behind Cody. And the funny thing is, I mean, Cody left WWE 6 years ago as a whole different character. He was Stardust.
Yes.
He shows up in basically his AEW attire, his AEW song. He is basically, it's like they pulled him right. It's like they traded him from AEW to WWE. This is his whole character, and people were still behind it. And I thought that was so cool. It was so heartwarming. For me, it was heartwarming.
Is. You're right. It is.
I love that they were behind him.
It's fantastic. And it reminds me of AJ Styles' entrance when he came over from Impact at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this is a minor league wrestling promotion, and AEW, maybe you don't want to call them minor league. I understand. Don't come at me, AEW fans, okay?
But they're definitely smaller.
But they're not the level of WWE, and we know this, okay? But people know who they are. They know who these guys are. They know what they do. Okay. The wrestling fan is very smart about what's going on in all of professional wrestling, and showed it once again with the absolute fanfare that Cody got. And his promo on Monday was outstanding.
Yeah.
And, I think I'll save the rest of that for talking about someone else later that Cody may have his sights on. But Cody is going to have big things ahead of him for sure.
Yeah. I love at one point Cody did the Dusty. He imitated his dad with the bionic elbow.
It's outstanding. Entertainment. He gets it now. And you know what? Maybe he needed to go to AEW to find it. You know, just like Drew McIntyre needed to go away to find it.
See, that's what I love about his story. He could have easily stayed in WWE. He could have easily been Stardust forever. I mean, look at his brother.
Yeah, was Goldust forever.
Goldust was a thing for 20 years. He
Mm-hmm.
could have easily done that, and he said, "No, I want more. I want this.
Yes.
I don't want to be stuck here. I want to get higher." And he took
Mm-hmm.
a chance, and he went on the Indies, and he started his own company. He basically started AEW.
Started AEW, and
then he got kicked out of it. And he comes back, and it's just I don't know. I just love the story. I love that he took that
story.
chance.
Great story. I love it.
Yeah.
Story that I'm not as in love with, Charlotte and Ronda. Again, I mean, they're supposed to be the main event players, but Bianca and Becky outdid them. And you know, the screwy finish and everything, I guess, had to happen to protect Ronda. And that's fine. And I don't mind a heel not winning clean, but it just felt like, to me, I just wasn't as into it, especially after watching Bianca and Becky.
I'm just, we talked about this last week. I'm tired of Charlotte. The character's stale. Do something else.
Right.
Ronda, I mean, this was an okay match. It was, but it's like, I don't know. It just didn't work. It
fell flat.
It fell flat. Exactly.
Yeah. And you know what I honestly want to see? I'd like to know what you think too, of course. I want to see WWE build back up Shayna Baszler. And then I want to see Ronda and Shayna just tear each other apart.
I want to
that
see
match will be outstanding.
But first, I want to see them be a tag team. I want to see them be a tag team. I would call them Sisters of Destruction or something like that. Just total two badasses that just destroy people. That's what I want to see. And then have them beat each other.
Just call them the badass bitches. That's it.
Yeah. A Ronda
just make a BAB shirt and boom, you're done.
There you go. There you go. I would love to see, because they both have that similar style, and they're both
right.
It would be perfect. It would be it would just be really good if they fought each other. But
and it would be a great way for Shayna to get built back up, because she should be built as a badass.
She should,
and not what she's been. They have done no service to her character whatsoever through this time that they've had her. Then we got the main event, night one. Stone Cold Steve Austin and KO. And we all thought it was just going to be the KO show, and then it becomes a match. I didn't expect that, actually. I did not expect a match where there would be a pinfall out of it. In retrospect, I guess we should have expected that, because how do you just end the night on someone beating up somebody, right? You have to have like a pinfall, a culmination, something to really just pop the crowd at the end of the night. And I mean, God bless Kevin Owens. You're selling for an older guy and making him look good and sending the crowd home happy and giving Austin a nice send off. I mean, his WrestleMania 19 match was, doing the honors on the way out for The Rock, and it was the right thing to do and the way to go out. Nobody knew it was his last match at the time.
Yeah.
So I think this is a nice send off for Austin in terms of having a match. Of course, there'll be more of Austin later as we talk, but this night one main event I thought was a nice moment for him. I think he deserves it after everything that he did and his popularity with the company.
I had low expectations for this, because it's not like we haven't seen Austin in the last 20 years. He'll show up to the occasional Raw or WrestleMania or whatever, and he'll give someone a stunner and then he'll leave and everybody will love it. So that's what I was kind of expecting. So I was like, what's the big deal here? What, but yeah, they made it a match. They got Steve Austin's 57, and he looks good for 57.
All right, Steve.
But yeah,
I'm 53, man. Hats off to you, Steve. Hats off to you. I'm sitting here with a broken ankle and a scooter, man. You're delivering.
But yeah, and then just Kevin Owens just was so good in this, and so good at riling up the crowd, and just the looks Austin was giving him when they were just talking to each other. It was just perfect. It was great. It was great. It was he did, obviously you knew Austin was going to win. He knew he was going to do his stuff, and it just was perfect. So
it was, they delivered it. So night one ended on a high note. So then we go to night two, and we kick off once again with a tag team title match. The result of the match isn't so much the thing, I guess. RK Bro winning, which is great, but then the Gable Stevenson appearance. I guess they've now this is their way of setting the stage for your next the next Kurt Angle, I guess, huh?
Next Kurt Angle, the next Brock Lesnar. We'll see. Hey,
right.
Sure. I mean, I think he just like recently competed in the NCAA championship. So hey, come on down. It's like, okay, are you ready? Or who knows how much training he needs, but hey, bring him on. They need stars. So let's do it.
I just felt like, though, this match was to introduce him, and it wasn't really for anything else, again, that's fine. And it's nice. It gives you a nice hot start to the night. RK Bro, crowds into them. They win. The Street Profits, I don't know why they'd be celebrating with them if we're in kayfabe, because they didn't win the titles. So I don't like that part of it. When you lose a title match, you're not celebrating with anybody.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. But outside of that, I thought that was okay. Lashley and Omos. I was surprised that they put Lashley over until Monday night.
Right.
And now I actually like it. Okay. That's the setup that they needed if they were going to have MVP turn on Lashley and take Omos under his wing. And actually, this was the start of a feud. We normally think of WrestleMania as the culmination. I'm sorry, not a feud. WWE doesn't like feuds. They like rivalries. This is the start of you're not allowed to say feuds anymore. You knew that? They don't call anything a feud. Everything is a rivalry.
I did not know that. They're not wrestlers, they're superstars.
Correct. They're superstars and they have rivalries. They are not having feuds anymore as wrestlers. So, because that's going to trick us. Sure. Right. Come on, Vince. We're smart. Let's go. But yeah, Lashley getting the win actually was the beginning and the setting up of this, of something that'll actually probably be a pretty decent rivalry between the two, and almost needs a mouthpiece.
Yes.
So MVP for him is going to be good. Lashley's gotten better on the mic, so then maybe as a face, he can sustain himself. But almost with MVP, I think is a really good call.
It turned out perfectly. WrestleMania made Lashley look like a total beast, picking up and throwing around some, a 7'1" guy that's that big. It made him look really good. And you're right, almost desperately needs. He definitely can't talk. Hell, he can't even wrestle, but he definitely can't talk. So MVP is going to help with that.
Yeah.
Hey, I called this last week. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I called MVP turning on that Lashley. I just got it one day.
I applaud you. I applaud you. I applaud you.
Yeah. I'm you're right. So this is the start of a rivalry, and so that should be interesting. But yeah, I'm almost definitely needs a mouthpiece. He needs a manager. Yes. So this will be perfect.
Yes. They built a better mousetrap in the next match. With
that almost didn't go off.
Johnny Knoxville. Sami Zayn. God bless Sami Zayn for putting him over. And the body slam. I forget the character's name. Wee Man with the body slam. That was think about that for a second. How gutsy of a move is that for Sami Zayn to take? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to pick on anybody's height, but when it comes to the physical process of a body slam, and you're much less off the ground, and you have to get completely over and not hit your neck and take the fall completely spread out with your back like that. That is not easy to do when most of that part of it has to come from the person doing the slam. So that was a move that they executed really, really well.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn was gutsy for taking that move and the risk that went with that move. So that was my hat's off to Sami Zayn, just like it is to Kevin Owens. I mean, I think you're talking about two guys there that they deserve something. They deserve an Intercontinental or a U.S. title or something. I mean, they deserve to be in prominent spots just for what they did in putting people over here at WrestleMania.
It was so much fun. This is another one I had low expectations for. It's like, what's Johnny Knoxville gonna do? It's like, and then I remembered, okay, because we saw Johnny Knoxville in the Royal Rumble. He had a brief spot there, and he did some things, and they did some cute things in the weeks leading up to it, like giving out the phone number. That's very funny. Him showing it, so it's like, I have 65,000 calls on my phone. That's funny. That's funny, and it looks like he answered some of them. Very, very funny stuff. It's like, okay, but then it's like, okay, so what are they going to do? What is this going to be? And then it's like, oh, this is going to be an episode of Jackass.
It was actually basically
fun. It was fun. It was just so much fun. It was just tons of fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know Jackass. I didn't know the guy taking off his clothes. Apparently he's, I don't know him.
I've never watched the show myself.
Yeah.
It's just not something I've been into, but this was fun to watch.
The giant hand smacking him was so funny. And then somebody had the line that it's like, oh, it's nice to see the son of Mark Henry and Mae Young show up on
getting his WrestleMania moments.
So funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, this was just highly entertaining. And apparently, so they bring out a giant mousetrap at the end, and the mousetrap didn't work, but Johnny Knoxville knew how to make it work. So credit to him for thinking on the fly and getting it to work.
It's beautiful.
Just awesome. Just highly entertaining. Really good.
I applaud their creativity. I had, like you, I did not have high hopes, and it exceeded my expectations. That was good. Women's tag match. I guess this was Sasha's WrestleMania moment, since this is her first WrestleMania win. Yay, Sasha. Whatever. I don't know. I like the women's tag titles have to exist. They've got to start telling stories with it. They're just not, I don't feel like they are. I don't feel like they're putting the effort into making the women's tag title as important as it should be.
Almost every team, whether it's men's or women's in the WWE, every tag team is just two people thrown together. With the exception of the Usos and New Day, it's almost just two people thrown together. Right. Let's put together Rhea and Liv. Let's put together Sasha and Naomi. Let's just put these people together, and maybe they'll coexist, maybe they won't. I don't care. It's like, have actual teams, or have them together for more than a few weeks.
Right. I guess Carmella and Zelina were together the longest in this group, and they haven't been together that long.
Yeah.
So there's no real tag team establishment for the women's division.
This match really annoyed me because Corey Graves, when he's doing I think he's good in certain instances. But when he's calling his fiance's matches, we get it. You're together. But shut up, dude. Like
it's all
it was
part
just
of
super annoying.
That's all part of the promotions of their show, though. That's all that is. It's really without promoting it, it's promoting it. And it's funny to me, though, for the longest time, if you recall, Corey Graves was always all over Mandy Rose when she wasn't in NXT. He was always call her the most beautiful woman and all this stuff. And I guess now Carmella is okay. All right, dude. I see where you're going. I think Mandy Rose should get a call up and just beat the crap out of Carmella. How about that? Have Toxic Attraction come in and just take over.
I would like to see that.
I would like to see that.
I would like to see more of them doing anything, but that's not a
easy, buddy. Easy, buddy. Easy. This is a PG show.
But they just need to do something with the women's tag team belts, just to do the whole division. Just do something.
Edge and AJ. I'm thrilled to see Damian Priest connected with Edge.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilled to see that, because I believe Damian Priest is one of those players that can be elite main event down the line. And he'll get nothing but good things being associated with Edge. Edge knows how to do it. He knows how to do it for a sustained period of time. And being connected now, and I think I'm hearing, seeing, reading, he's gonna have more of a stable, so there's gonna be more people.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It's a great role for Edge. He doesn't have to carry everything himself at his age. And it also helps him to give the rub to some of the younger guys and to help make them stars. I don't have faith in WWE doing this, but the pieces are there. The idea, the concept is there. And I mean, it protected AJ in the loss too. You know, he doesn't suffer anything out of that loss. And I like what they did with that. I like the story they told.
See, I'm a little, I was disappointed in the match, because you have AJ Styles and Edge are two great workers, and it was more of a story driven match than a technical, because they if you just let them go, they could just put on a great match, and but they went in a different direction, and it's hard for me to accept Edge being a bad guy, because you just want to root for him.
Edge is a bad guy. He was meant to be a bad guy. His greatest work was when he was a bad guy, when he was first getting his title runs as the Rated R Superstar against John Cena.
Yeah.
That was his best stuff. That was the best Edge we've had.
But then
he's a guy who's a born heel.
Yeah, but then he had to retire, and then he was away for so many years, and then he made this miraculous comeback. That's why I say it's hard to root against him, because he's the fact that he's wrestling at all is just awesome. It's just, you want to root for him. But now they're going into a different direction with his character, and let's see what happens.
Let me ask you this: do you still root for Roman Reigns?
No.
Okay, he came back from leukemia.
That's true.
Okay, Daniel Bryan turned heel after coming back.
Right.
They come back as a face. They get the pop. They're always going to get the pop when they come back, for sure. But then, and besides this, maybe for doing a couple of years of this face character, maybe they saw that it could get stale, and so they needed a different direction for Edge.
His wife Beth Phoenix put out a tweet and said, I know there's good in him. It's like, okay, Luke Skywalker, okay, it's Edge, not Darth Vader. You're married to Edge, not
yes, you're married to Adam Copeland. It's okay, he's fine. You're good. It's all good. He's not bringing the ministry over for sacrifice. Okay,
Right.
it's all good. It's all good, Beth. All good. No new.
Mommy,
the new broods.
Mommy,
Yeah.
what's Daddy doing with his friends in the garage? No, don't worry about that, honey. They're just sacrificing things. Don't worry about it.
What's all that red liquid? Stop. No.
Oh man. Oh, please bring back Gangrel. Please.
Oh my God, Gangrel. That's beautiful.
That was awesome. I love that.
I remember Edge's first promo when he was with the Brood. It was the worst promo I think I'd ever seen.
Oh man.
He was horrible. Look how far he's come, man. It's great. And I think he's got some great work ahead of him now in helping to bring some of the young guys and women into being stars. And I hope that we
fully
see that.
expect Rhea Ripley to join this group. And
Yes.
I think that would be awesome. She's another one that needs to be elevated.
Okay. What do you think about this? I've always thought that there should be more stables that have men and women in them.
Yes.
Like, why don't they?
You know who needs to be added to the Usos and Roman Reigns is Naomi, because she's actually the wife of one of the Usos.
Right.
So
have her
that's
turn
natural.
on Sasha and then have her be part of the ones.
Absolutely. More stables with men and women. I agree.
So you're going to dominate all the divisions, right? If you're the heel stable. Why not?
It's perfect. You could have guys interfering in women's matches, women interfering in guys' matches. Yeah. Bring it on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
We should be booking.
Yes, we should.
We wouldn't have booked this. We wouldn't have booked Sheamus and Holland in the New Day. I cannot think of a WWE superstar that I care about less than Ridge Holland. I really can't. Can you? Can you think of anyone that you really just don't care about, that you're totally indifferent to? It just doesn't
Happy
matter.
Corbin, Madcap Moss.
Okay.
But,
all right. So there's a couple. All right. Fair enough. Actually, here's what we do. You get Ridge Holland, right? You get Madcap, you get Corbin, and you put them in a personality on a pole match, right? I'm not kidding. And it's funny. They got moved from night 1 to night 2, and then they were just given a short match, and it was like they were an afterthought. And the New Day deserves better. But the Sheamus Holland thing, I don't even like it.
Yeah, that just stinks. They had to squeeze it in, like.
But then what happened next? Defied every single expectation that I had. I had no hopes for Pat McAfee in WrestleMania. I might, and especially being from Pittsburgh, I understand this is sacrilege because he's from Plum. And Pat McAfee is a great guy, and he has given so much back to his community.
Millions of dollars.
I have no problems at all with Pat McAfee, the person. Okay. As a SmackDown announcer, I'm not entertained by him. Okay. He's not what I want in a color commentator. It's my personal preference. Then he's going to be wrestling. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, man, I know he's an athlete, but really, this dude, I don't like that he beat Austin Theory, because I think that damages Austin Theory. Okay. And I talked about that last week. I think that damages Austin Theory's character. However, McAfee not only delivered in that, McAfee carried and sold for old Vince McMahon. How to do that is not easy. To sell for someone who's slower, to someone who's not going to deliver the moves in the same manner, but to sell it and sell it right is amazing. And I'm going to go on record. This was the best sell ever of a Stone Cold Stunner. I think it was the best ever. The slow fall backwards, spitting out the beer.
The fountain of beer just going backwards with perfection.
McAfee delivered on WrestleMania.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back one more time because I called this. I said he would have a good match because I mean he's wrestled before. He wrestled in NXT, and you know he did put on the box jump to go. Okay, so he was on the top rope, looked like he was going to do a superplex, but he did a flip. And then he jumps on the top, just does a leap from the floor to the top rope. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. I mean, that guy just delivered, and he had the crowd, man. He had that crowd behind him.
Yeah. That
was amazing what he did and what he delivered there, and the entertainment of it, and the whole thing with Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold was just, now it was Stone Cold stunner on Vince was probably the worst thing I've ever seen, actually. And yeah, that's just Vince not being able to do it like he used to. And you could even see Stone Cold laughing about it.
It was so bad.
It was bad.
You have one job when you take a stunner. You get kicked, you fall forward, he grabs you, he does a stunner, and then you fall back. It's all no, not Vince. Not Vince. He has to flail around and hit the ropes and like what the heck is going on? Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but it provided entertainment. It was entertaining. It was great. It was great stuff. I mean, I had no expectations when I just saw Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. And this just went above and beyond anything I had hoped for.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anybody expected, we expected Steve Austin night 1. We did not expect Steve Austin night 2.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, because we expect Pat McAfee, Austin Theory, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Austin Theory is with Mr. McMahon, so it's like, okay, maybe something will happen, blah blah blah. Not a freaking match,
right?
Not a match. And then Vince was with Austin Theory after he defeated Pat McAfee, and he just heard some music. He's like, oh, what's that? But that was Austin Theory's music. So
that's great.
I just loved everything about it. You know, Austin, whoever, here's a PSA to you kids out there. If you're drinking beer with Steve Austin, expect a stunner.
Yeah.
Even if he offers you a beer,
as soon as you do this, you're getting kicked in the gut. Okay. Right. That's what's happening to you.
If I'm with Steve Austin, he gives me a beer, I'll be like, thank you very much. And I run away.
I will toast him and I will back away.
Yeah, I'm running. I'm getting out of this.
I'm out of Dodge, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you guys, anyone that hasn't seen it, find it like on YouTube or whatever. Pat McAfee, just the sell of that stunner was perfect. It was perfect. You know, my hat's off to you, Pat. Great job. Great job.
Yeah.
Now the main events. Roman Reigns cleanly defeats Brock Lesnar. So my first question, have you seen anywhere, because I haven't seen anywhere, I've seen a couple of pictures of Roman's arm and him saying to Paul Heyman, my arm is out. Do you think they cut the match short because Roman was hurt?
I've seen the speculation that what might have been it, but I've also heard no, that's what they wanted. That's just what they wanted. They wanted a clean win. They wanted something unexpected. They wanted just not, your typical, kick out of the finisher 20 different times, different thing. They just wanted like a shorter match that's more decisive, a decisive victory for Roman. Okay.
It's the rare heel wins WrestleMania at the end. They've rarely done that over the years. And now, excuse me for 1 second, allow me. Because I called that they have to have Roman win. That Brock can't be the one to beat him.
Yeah.
So Reigns winning was the right call. I thought maybe there'd be some shenanigans involved. But, Roman winning was the right move. And so, in the old days, as I speak as an old man, almost as old as Stone Cold Steve Austin, in the old days, they plotted out WrestleMania probably about a year ahead.
Yeah.
Or a little less, right? They plotted Hogan Andre way ahead of time. They knew when Savage won the title at WrestleMania 4 that it was going to be Savage and Hogan at WrestleMania 5. So they have some historical, they can plan WrestleMania. They don't have to announce it, but you're building, they start with what they want at WrestleMania and they build backwards. Okay. And now injuries and fan support and all that stuff gets in the way. And of course, you have to change on the fly to some degree. They need to be building next year and not The Rock. It's not The Rock. It's not The Rock. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year.
Let's do it.
A year-long build. The promo Cody cut on Monday night with his father holding the WWF championship that he actually didn't win. The emotion behind that interview, Cody's mission to become champion. The best way to fulfill that with the crowd support that he has is going and building somehow. And I don't have a storyline in mind, to be perfectly honest, to get there. But for him, he's got a fan base already. So let it build. Let it build. And he goes to WrestleMania, and that he is the one to defeat Roman Reigns. It will mean something. It will build him into a megastar.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about last week, whoever beats Roman for the title is a made man, is set. So yeah, just have that be the story. Cody. The chase for the title.
To fulfill the dream of what he wanted to do for his father.
Yeah. The story's right there. It's right there in front of you.
It's there. Heck, if you want to have The Rock and Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble or SummerSlam, build to that, right? And then have Roman take the Rock down for the family. You know what I mean? You still have the big four coming up. You have SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series. If you want to do The Rock, or you do The Rock and Roman the next year for something with the family honor at stake. But the person who beats Roman, it couldn't be Brock and it can't be The Rock. It's got to be someone that is going to be a star. Cody Rhodes is right in that prime position right now. And he's the one that I'm pulling for to be the guy that takes him down and to do it at WrestleMania next year in LA.
And you have that factor of, I mean, let's not kid ourselves that Cody being like one of the main guys in the other promotion, him coming over, they could say, hey, other people in that promotion want to come over? Look how we're trading Cody.
You can be a star too. Yep.
Yeah.
You can be a star too, Hangman Page. You can be a star.
Yep. MJF. MJF. MJF would be so good. So yeah. So the story is right there. We'll see what they do. We're
I don't
dream
have faith
booking.
in them doing it.
I have no faith.
I have no faith whatsoever. None at all.
But I am
in Brock again, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what happens with Cody. I have a feeling they'll screw it up, but still, we'll see. I have a feeling also with Cody that they don't. He has more. I don't want to say creative control, but he has more freedom. Like that promo on Monday night was nothing like we've heard from any other. You could tell
why it wasn't scripted.
Exactly. Exactly. You could tell it was not scripted. He just said it from his heart. And I think that's part of the deal of him coming in. It's like, okay, I'm coming in, but I'm not putting up with your BS. I'm not putting up with you. I ain't doing no Stardust.
I'm not
crap.
Stardust. I'm not BS.
I'm not doing your stupid scripts. I'm doing my thing. So
yeah. And if he got that, if that's what he got, more power to him, because he's got a great mind for the business. He's ready. He wasn't ready before.
Right.
He is ready now. This is Cody Rhodes' time to be at the level of, I'll never say the next of somebody because everyone has to be their own, but on the level of a Stone Cold, Rock, Cena, Hogan, he can be that level. He can be. WWE just has to book it right to make it happen.
I have two more names for possible people to beat Roman. One of them is we talked about Gable Stevenson. There's one, if they do it right, if they want to, push him hard, push him to the moon, they could do that. And the other is that, have you seen that Braun Breaker?
Yes.
Braun Breaker, who's Rick Steiner's kid, who is basically like a clone of Rick Steiner. He has superstar written all over him. He has it.
So without question, I agree.
That's another one they could push to the moon if they want to.
They could. Now he's in, he's NXT right now. And, okay, maybe he needs some seasoning too, right? I'm not sure I'd agree with pushing Gable Stevenson to that moon level just yet. We're not out of the chute. We don't know what kind of crowd reaction he's going to get. First in reality, once he's out there every
training.
Week. He does.
He needs something. He can't just throw him out there about who knows what they're going to do. Maybe they will. I don't know, but come on.
I don't think you put him into the title picture right away though. I think you've got to. We have like, I'm part of the company. They have the US title and the Intercontinental title for a reason. Okay. That's where you learn your chops as a champion. Or should be anyway. It's what it should be. Those two championships that weren't defended on WrestleMania weekend.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But that's where guys need to use those championships. The Intercontinental was always the workhorse title, but to build them and to see if a guy can be a champion, to see if a guy can carry himself as a champion, to see how they carry themselves with that responsibility with the company and delivering for the fans as a champion. And so I'd be hesitant to push someone directly to the WWE or the Universal title early on. It's too much uncertainty I'm gonna die on the Cody Rhodes hill though. That's the one. He needs to be the one. He needs to be the one to beat Roman.
It's right there. So we'll
take it, WWE. Vince, do it. Pull the trigger, man. Cody Rhodes, Universal Champion, next year's WrestleMania. Let it build. Build the anticipation.
Build Cody.
Build it so you can fill SoFi Stadium with the anticipation of him beating Roman Reigns.
Learn to take a stunner. Learn to take a stunner better.
And yes, you have a year Vince.
Or maybe 76-year-old men shouldn't be wrestling. I don't know. That's just me.
I'm 53 and I wouldn't get in a ring, so I don't know.
Now, Vince looks great for 76, but 76 is 76.
Dude is still jacked. There's no question about it. I wouldn't get in a fight with Vince McMahon. He'd kick my tail, man. I admit it. That's fine. Whatever. But I get why they did it. And it was entertaining, and it gave Mr. McMahon a nice WrestleMania moment. Maybe it's his last WrestleMania moment,
I think it's definitely the last time we'll see McMahon and Steve Austin doing that. And that was nice. It was, it
made the crowd happy. And in a WrestleMania, you do need to pull out all the stops. You really do. And in a WrestleMania, and like I said, I know I've been critical of who they bring back. But Austin, like, they had celebrities, but Austin's only really, I think, if I'm looking at the sheet, It's the only one they kind of brought back. We didn't have The Rock. We didn't have Cena, making up any appearances whatsoever. So
I mean, The Undertaker showed up, Triple H showed up, and those are just appearances.
Triple H wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him, retiring.
Right.
And even then, that was very well done. It was it was the moment that Triple H deserved to have on a big stage like that, and for everything that he's done in the ring. So, on the whole, WrestleMania delivered. I'm happy to see that. I don't like being excessively critical of the company, and I'm hoping that they build on it. They've started with Lashley and Omos. I hope they keep building Edge's stable to be something. We'll have to see what's next with Bianca. I'm sure there's going to be a rematch with Becky, probably at SummerSlam of some sort. And they've and what are they going to do with the two titles? That's another question I have, though. Like, is he unified champion or is he both champions? Like, what is Roman right now? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure they know, because I'll say this much: if someone beats Roman for the WWE title and he still has the Universal title, I still think that would cheapen a win from someone else. So I almost feel like he has to hold on.
If you defeat a champion, you should defeat a champion for both
belts.
But who?
Unless Roman just is like, I never wanted this belt anyway, and gives up the WWE title because he's Universal champion. I mean, which you could, which maybe he announces that Friday. Who knows? They're announcing what's next on Friday. Maybe that's it. Who knows? I don't have any knowledge. I don't, for anyone who's listening, I don't know that, but that could be a direction they go, and then you can set up a tournament for the WWE title or something.
What's the next big show then? Is it?
Well, I know that I don't know what the next pay-per-view is, but the next of the big four is SummerSlam. But I know there's at least probably
that's 5 months away.
It's not 5 months away. Is it?
Basically.
May, June, July, August, 4 months. So they got a couple. They got a couple pay-per-views in between. Yeah.
Okay. What basically
do they still do Backlash?
The next bit, Backlash is May 8th. Hell in the Cell is June 5th. And then Money in the Bank is July 2nd. And I think Money in the Bank is like basically elevated to one of the major pay-per-views now.
Yeah.
Right. I think. And then right after that, July 30th is SummerSlam. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, the Backlash is almost always some WrestleMania retreads.
Yeah.
Hence the name Backlash. And then you have gimmick matches for Hell in a Cell and Money in the Bank. But who should win Money in the Bank? Because we're not going to be talking before SummerSlam. So
here's who should not win it: Cody. I don't want those shenanigans.
No, correct. No, yes, correct.
I want Cody to have the chase, the year-long chase for the title. Not this. I mean, Money in the Bank is a cute gimmick, but not for this situation.
No, absolutely not. But then who should? And in reality, it's going to be someone who loses to Roman, right? Maybe AJ wins it and he has some time with Roman to keep building Roman up. Maybe it's Lashley.
Well, I mean, look how it was used last year.
Lashley and Roman would be fun.
Lashley and Roman. Biggie won it last year and teased that he was going to go after Roman, but he eventually went after Lashley. Yeah. But now you have just one guy with both belts.
You have to go after Roman.
You got to go after Roman. So,
and okay,
we'll see. We'll see. Could be Drew McIntyre.
Could be Drew. Yeah. The women. I got a soft spot in my heart for Liv Morgan. I really do. I want to see her get a push sometime.
I don't see that. I might be the only person on the planet that doesn't see anything good about her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's that good of a wrestler. Like, I don't get it. I know
she's not at the same level, but yeah, I just like, could she be that?
I want I want
look what happens. Look what's happened with Mandy Rose since she went to NXT.
Yeah,
her game is elevated.
That did it a world of good. That
right?
Because she was not doing anything in WWE and NXT.
I'll tell you who's underrated. I'll tell you who's underrated, honestly, in the ring as a performer is Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
She's underrated.
She needs to wrestle more. I want one of two people to be elevated: Rhea Ripley or Asuka. Asuka is, I think she's coming back soon.
Asuka and Bayley both, right?
And Bayley, yes. Bayley needs to be, more, needs more too. So any one of those three, I'd be thrilled with.
Maybe is Bayley the next Bianca challenger, or is Charlotte and Ronda has to continue, I guess, right? What else is Ronda going to do? She's not going to just sit there in the mid card.
Yeah.
That's the problem they actually have, is that Ronda and Charlotte, it's hard for them right now to put either of them in any mid card situation. It's very difficult for them to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Asuka and Bayley. Let's get them back in the game. That'd be great. Great stuff there.
You have 6 or 7 women wrestlers that are all elite or potentially elite that you could do something with.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Because I mean, like I said, Bianca, Becky, Charlotte, Ronda, Asuka, Bayley. I mean, those are right there.
Sasha.
Sasha.
As much as you don't want to admit it, she's still elite.
Look, she has stepped up her game from the point in time where I really started criticizing her in-ring work. She's gotten better, and she's gotten better at her character work as well. So she has won me over. Sasha Banks has won me over.
And when she won this tag team match, she was so genuinely happy.
Genuinely happy. Yeah.
That was awesome
good to see. That was great to see. And I'm happy for her. Is her name Mercedes, right?
Mercedes.
Her real name?
Vernado. Like that.
Yeah. I'm happy for Mercedes. That I think that's a great moment for her. And I mean, but Rhea Ripley too. Rhea Ripley deserves more, I think, and I think Shayna Baszler deserves more in this division. I think they both deserve more prominent character building in terms of being badasses and better stories. I think they both deserve better.
Shayna's another one you could elevate if you wanted to. Yeah, that would be that would be good. So,
yep.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Maybe we'll talk before Money in the Bank. Maybe if that is one of the major ones, because I think Survivor Series has kind of been de-emphasized, and they kind of elevated Money in the Bank kind of. So
yeah, we can talk anytime you want, my man.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm here for
it. All right. I'll see you.
All right, I'll see you later.
Bye.